Thank you for tuning in to another segment of Outside the Box. I'm your host, Onay, the CEO, and today I have a fabulous guest in the building. He is talented in so many ways, so I want you guys to stay plugged in, tuned in, tapped in to Outside the Box. Tonight's guests have a very powerful voice, and I was moved the first time I heard him sing. So without further ado, I want you guys to give it up for goddamn Jack Jones in the building.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I want you to tell the world what all it is that you do, Jack.
Jack Jones, I am a singer, songwriter. I have been singing and writing my whole life. Just recently decided to drop an album and show the world what God wants me to show them. That's what's going on.
Well, I am so glad you decided to show the world.
Thank you.
You know, like the theme of tonight's show is that it's not too late to be great.
All right.
And I was so inspired that, you know, at where you are in your life, that you decided to take such a big leap into, you know, following something that you're passionate about. There's definitely a purpose there because, I mean, there's chills when I hear your voice. And I know that through song and music that you can minister to people. You know, and not only that, to people that are equally as talented that feel like it may be too late. You're going to shine a light on that to say, you know what? No, it's not. When they hear you, they're going to be like, man, if he could do it, maybe I can do it. You know, I don't know if they could do it as good. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely have your own swag, your own creative way of doing your music. So what necessarily inspired you? What was your aha moment to say, you know what, it's time?
I was dealing with you know, some personal issues with my son about a year and a half ago when he was dealing with anxiety, really bad anxiety, and we had to, you know, get some help for him. And while we're doing those sessions, I came to realize that he got it honestly. You know, when you're in these sessions with your child, and sometimes you know, the doctor seems like they're talking to you. So I had to kind of like figure some things out. I went through my own counseling, and of course with God, and dealing with my own anxiety and sometimes even depression. And so once I kind of got out of my own way, I was able to kind of, get on track to start something and put this album together. Writing has always been easy for me. I've always been able to write. And so that was always the easy part. The hard part was just letting people see
it. Yeah.
Right. Because I had really no interest in fame. I just wanted to do music. But if you're going to, I guess, do the kind of music that I do, it comes with the territory. So you got to get over it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm definitely glad you got over it.
Yeah.
So once you decided to do music for the world to see, how did that change the course of your decisions in life? Like, did it change your dynamics with your friendships, relationships? You know, tell me some of the changes that occurred at that time.
With everybody that's in my circle, I keep a very small circle. Everybody knows, for a while what I could do. And it's almost like they just been waiting. It didn't really change anything in my internal life, really. They were just happy that I was just doing it. The only really change is of course, the attention that I'm having to get used to, which I'm fine with. I'm not a shy person. I'm just an introvert, and so
just don't run up on me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just introverted, but I'm not a shy person. But just getting used to attention, getting used to people that notice you and stuff like that. But it's been welcome. It's been a welcome change. So I have no complaints. It's fine.
Now, I see that you recently released a project.
All right.
So how did that manifest? Like, how did you pull all those pieces together?
It's a funny story. When I was going through the therapy, my therapist, I'm very transparent, so I don't have really anything to hide. My therapist was, saying maybe you should, get over this. I don't want to call it fear, just get over this attention issue and just post a video of me singing. And I did that, and I had a buddy from Atlanta, call me up and say, dude, I didn't even know that you could sing. I've been knowing you for 10 years. I didn't know you could sing. And I'm like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, I hope you don't mind. I sent your video to some buddies of mine, some producers. And I'm like, what do you do that for? I'm like, but it was cool. I talked to the guys that produced the album, Bread and Water. Chris and Conrad Roser out of Atlanta. They did production with and produced for Tupac in his last album. And we talked and formed a pretty cool bond and started producing. I started writing. And slowly I told them I wasn't interested in actually being an artist. I just wanted to write. And they were like, you crazy. And I was like, no, I just want to write. And they were patient. We became a friendship. They were patient. And once we started, sending some tracks and stuff like that, when I started writing to them, they started really filling out my style and started producing directly for me. And once I decided that I was going to just go ahead and do it and we'll just see what happens, it just snowballed. Yeah. Right. So when you have people that were locked in, as talented as they are, and good vibes, it happened pretty fast. We didn't, it didn't drop until, of course, this year, but we pretty much got this thing wrapped up pretty fast.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it was almost like you thought it and it manifested. It just, all the pieces came. That's how you know when it's meant to be. Yeah. Because everything kind of just happens. Right. The right people come at the right time to put you in the right places to get to where you need to be. So that's completely awesome. So they basically were your support team. Now, do you have an extended support team? Your family?
Yeah, friends? Besides, like I say, my friends, my manager is my, best friend. And so I keep a real tight circle. For me, trust is everything, and so I make sure that my team, the camaraderie is always set because it's years of foundation. Right. So the producers are like an extension of family now. We're close, and anybody I'm going to work with, it is family, and so that's important for me. It's important for me to have that kind of camaraderie with the people that I work with. And that's how you're going to get the best from me. Now,
you just released your project is titled Lefthanded in My Right Mind. Right. How did you come up with that title?
That, there was an artist named Donnie. I don't know if people, it didn't really do as well on the charts, but I love the project. It was Welcome to the Colored Section. And he had a song on there, I think it was called Cloud 9, and he would say he was left-handed in his right mind. It was just a little phrase in the song that it just always resonated with me because it kind of just sums me up. I'm hard to kind of pin, and that just seems just right. It's in my mind, whatever you think I am, on the inside, I'm not what you think I am. So externally, I might look like something else, but inside, is something else rolling.
Well, I actually have a rehearsal video of you that I kind of want to give them a snippet. Oh. Let's check it out.
All right. Hey, yeah. Listen to me, y'all. Hey, one day, one voice told me that I can. My life, my hopes, my dreams, His plan. Your fears, your doubts, believe that I can. Have the courage to leave my insecurities in His hands. My story was written for me in real time. My fears, your tears, their rhythm, my rhyme. You want it, then see it, believe it, take my hand. I'ma share some things about me. I hope that you understand. Now sing.
Ooh, wee, that's a nice little ski taste right there.
Thank you.
Now, you've had a few features on this project.
Yeah.
Who are some of the collaborative features you have on this project?
Well, with 2020, which is MMXX, that's Se7en the Poet, which people know here in Houston. He came actually later on in the project and just hit it off right off the back. He came right in the studio. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everything is so organic with me, right? So if I'm a big feel, like when we start this interview, it's about feel for me. So also with Bonecrusher, Bonecrusher actually knows the producers.
Okay.
And so we collaborated, we talked, and I told him that I wanted him to be on it. He wanted to be on it, and so we got together on that. That came together. I mean, this God had his hand on all this, so that was easy. And then Hicks, who you've interviewed us before,
Yes, I
so
have.
that's my sweetheart.
Yes,
And
I
so
love
I
Kaya.
told her
Shout out to
that I
Kaya Hicks.
needed her. Shout out, Mama. You know what it is,
Yeah.
honey. When I asked her to be on there, never hesitated. Came right on in, and we put this together. Like I said, when I work with people, it's family. It's family, and they know I've been around. I just wasn't on the scene,
Right.
and so a lot of these people know me from just writing, and they just didn't really know I could sing like this.
Right.
And so she came on along, and we was able to put this together. So those are the 3 features.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So with everything else going on, have you been performing locally with COVID and everything going on?
Right now, I just finished the show with Wayne Street Live, and we're trying to do more. Like I say, it's a little tough with COVID because I'm a live performer.
Right.
It's not really many venues we can do. But my thing is that we're still recording and making music and still collaborating and writing and stuff like that. So once this thing clear up, hopefully we get this thing clear it up. We can get the Jack Jones experience for people.
Oh, man, it is definitely experience. Your whole
Thank
voice
you.
is an experience. Now, what can you give advice? What kind of advice can you give to someone that may be where you were when, I guess you could say like a year and a half ago, before you thought about coming out again, coming out as a public, as a face,
Right.
a face to that voice, a name to that voice. What advice could you give to someone that is in that space that want to follow their dream?
Well, you have to be true to you have to be true to it. Things like that just don't come overnight. And even when you decide to want to do it, you have to have conviction to what you're doing, and you have to believe. You have to really believe. There's no way I wouldn't been able to do this without, my foundation and belief in God. And if it depends on what the people are dealing with. If you're dealing with anxiety or depression and stuff like that, get help.
Right.
Get help. I know it's not something that we do in our community.
Right.
But it's vital. We all need it. It's trauma. And it's, a lot of us grew up in a lot of these, tough neighborhoods and things that we've seen and experienced. It's not normal. And so we need to talk to people. We need to talk.
Yeah, have those conversations.
We need to have those conversations. And if once you do that, you have your, you go for it.
Right.
You have one life. Live your life, boo.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. I'm glad I'm doing my thing. I'm glad you're doing your thing
do
too.
Your thing, man.
Yes. Now, if it's something, speaking of doing your thing, now if it was something that you could do different, what would that be?
Oh, man. Besides singing, I have an affinity for helping youth. It's just something that I've always had a passion for. We volunteer and we teach drums to inner city kids for Calvin Murphy, Marching Thunder. And so I was a part of that as a child. And, and I never forget how they came back to the inner city to help kids like us and get us off the street so we can have something productive to do. So that's something that we're definitely going to do. I could use my platform.
I was just going to say the Jack Jones experience could really expand, and you could do both.
We can do everything we want to do.
Yeah.
That's right. And so we want to help kids. We want to help kids, give them direction, teach them that, there's something else to what's inside these concrete jungle, and teach them how to have the life skills that we just wouldn't give them. You know what I mean? So it's not it's something that I've always had a passion for.
Now, what can we look forward to from Jack Jones?
Funk.
Yeah.
So now that I'm awake, music comes easy. Writing and producing comes, fortunately for me, easy. What's not easy is attention.
Okay.
So I have to get used to that. So if you ever see me out, I'm not shy. I'm just introverted. It's not you. It's me. I'm just to myself.
Well, I'm glad I was able to pull you on out the house.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
You come sit at the round table with Onay.
We straight.
Yes, indeed. So have you had to learn any tough lessons so far on your journey?
Yeah, that you can't ignore God.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ignore, no matter how bad you try, no matter how much you try to fight it. When he wants your attention, he'll break you down. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what else he has planned for me, but I know that he wants me to move in this direction.
Right.
And so that's the main thing that I learned, that I need to trust and trust myself and learn to live. I mean, happiness is a choice.
It is.
It's
an inside job, too.
It's an inside job.
We definitely need to learn that happiness is not found in an extension of ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
Once we get to that point, we can do anything.
Ma'am. And it's not anybody else's job to make you happy.
Right.
You need to be happy before you try to find happiness,
right.
So with someone else. So those are little lessons that I had to kind of that I'm learning and still, learning, and I've learned.
So are you, in your music, does your lessons, your life lessons, does that come out through your music, or is it entertainment? Like, share us a little bit of what are your musical influence, or do you have influencers, or both?
Yeah, the household that I grew up in is actually responsible for, like, you hear a lot of genres in my music. Mm-hmm. And when we grew up, my mom only listened to country, western, and blues. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Okay, that's where that soulful come from.
Well, yeah, the stories and things like that. But within the house, everyone had their own sections, and it was a very, very it was a wild household. I mean, it was dysfunctional, but it helped mold me. I had a brother that listened to nothing but Prince, and this is a very talented household. Another sister that only really paid attention to 80s pop, Cyndi Lauper, Boy George, Culture Club, and then my older sister that was still in the house, and I was the youngest, and she introduced me to, like, Isley and Betty White and Maze and things like that. And so and of course the staples of Donny Hathaway and Stevie, but I had all these influences and I was the youngest. Mm-hmm. And so in order to be in anybody's space, I had to adapt to their space. Mm-hmm. And so you had to enjoy what they were enjoying. But all those artists, all those genres were always inside of me. And so when I wanted to write, it was the influence of Prince, of being fearless. It was the storytelling of the country western and the blues, and learning how to deliver songs the way Johnny Taylor and Bobby Womack and B.B. King. Yes. And so these things are all in me. And so it always came easy to do it. It was just hard to let the world know what I could do. I had no interest, really. Yeah.
Now I see that you're passing the torch to your son. He sings too.
He does.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's therapeutic within itself. He'll remember that.
Yeah.
Singing with his dad. He'll remember that forever.
Yeah.
That's like priceless moments. So how does that make you feel, knowing that he takes joy in some of the same things that you do?
He's going to be better than me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know you're gonna make sure of it.
I don't have anything to do with. He's that determined. So he's better than me at virtually everything. I taught him how to play drums, and he's better than me when I was in college. At this same age, he's just a gifted child, and so my job is just to make sure.
Now, how old is he?
13.
Oh man, he done passed you up in college.
He's
huh?
he's an amazing talent. So I'm very, very proud of him. All my job is just to make sure the avenues are open, and then he knows that he can do whatever he chooses to do. It's his world.
And you're leading by example.
Yeah,
you're showing him that
you.
in your walk and everything that you have going on.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I know with COVID and everything is going on, we can't really call out what we have coming up, but you are available for booking, correct?
Yes, we are available.
Yes, and I also want to let everybody know that you have your own YouTube page as well.
Yes.
And that is Jack Jones. Can we pull that up? Yes. Goddamn Jack Jones. So how did that name come about? The goddamn part. I want to know about that because I don't know whether to just say Jack Jones or goddamn.
It's always funny.
It sounds funky when I say goddamn.
Well, it was basically from the guys in Atlanta. It just after they hear me sing, they were just like, "Goddamn Jack Jones!" Like this goddamn Jack Jones, and it just something that stuck. Of course, there's an older artist that's named Jack Jones, and so I just thought adopted it right now so people could identify me with from him. So I'm still getting used to it. It's funny when I hear people say it.
And I see that you actually just started an Instagram page.
Yeah, real new.
Yeah,
it's still
real new.
So, but it's we're growing, but it's still new.
Well, trust me, it's gonna be some watchers and some listeners out there that's gonna hear your music, and they're gonna go and push that follow button. So you guys be sure to go look him up on Instagram on the goddamn Jack Jones, and you hit that that follow button, and one more thing, you also have a Facebook page, correct?
I do.
Now, are you active on there? You post regularly?
Yeah. I'm posting. I'm not. I'm being active as I should be because I'm still just so music based. But my manager, he stays on me constantly about it. So I do what he says. But we are active on all the platforms.
Okay.
Just not as we should be. But I'm all about the music, guys. But we're good. I'm gonna get there.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing some of your moments and your stories and let me kind of pick your brain and dig into all your business. Maybe sometime in the future we can have you again because I know you're going to continue to release projects. I'm proud of you. Keep being a light in a dark room.
Thank you.
I want to remind our viewers to check us out. We are on multiple platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Google Play, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Hip Hop Streets, SoundCloud, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, and Pocket Cast. Be sure to find a platform that works for you. Like us, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And thank you again for tuning in to Outside the Box.
Yes,
and we're out.
Hey, all right. Hey, yeah. Listen to me. Talk to him, Jack. Hey, talk to him, man. One day, one voice told me that I can. My life, my hopes, my dreams, his plans. Talk to him now. No doubt, believe that I can. Had the courage to lay my insecurities in his hands. My story was written for me in real time. This might be your tears, the rhythm, my rhymes. Come on, you want it, then see it, believe it, take my hand. I'ma share some things about me. I hope that you understand. Come on, sing. I'm a sinner, I'm a saint. Can't draw me with just pain. Come on, sing. On another, all my sisters and my brother. Let me hear you now. Let 'em be 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 now.
Welcome, motherfucker, to the most exceptional emotional funk experience that you have ever had in your motherfucking life. We only ask for 1,620 seconds of your soul. Beautiful, ain't it? Yeah. They can't stand it when we bring it. Left-handed in my right mind. This shit was by design, and we came to wake it up. Funky from the bottom, thou cup shall run it over with funk. Funky from the top, thou shall leave you drunk off the phone. Funky forever, and the funk don't stop. I ain't talking fast, your bitch ass just listening slow. Keep up, motherfucker. You ain't never experienced no shit like this. It's been a minute since y'all had something like this. All that sugar-coated bullshit out there. This ain't none of that, Slim. You did.